Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Lancescurv, the Lancescurv podcast, or rather the SCURV podcast, whichever way you want to call it. I'm glad to be back. I've been resting for the last few days, and it's done me well, although I need a little more rest because that sleep is sweet. Anyway, the title of this particular episode, this is the most evil generation ever in the history of creation. People say, wait a second, how could you say that? We had Sodom and Gomorrah. We had countless wars throughout history where so many people were killed. How could you say that? We have all of this modern technology now, and yes, there is violence and crime and war going on these days, but how could you say that? We have more knowledge now. We have more information now. But see, the thing is, when you look at this society all over the world, let's just say globally, because we're not where we should be. And who am I to say where we should be? But if we removed this accelerant called social media and the internet, we wouldn't be as evil as we are. Because evil, inherent evil, that's there. Let's just talk about people who are evil within, dormant, that you don't see behind the Colgate smile. That's like a nuclear bomb waiting to go off. But see, the thing is, we live in an age that surpasses all previous generations in its capacity for sin, decadence, and moral corruption. Unlike any other time in history, the rise of the internet and social media has amplified human behavior. See, we had all of these things before, but social media has amplified it. Even when you don't see it, even when you don't see what's in someone's mind, what they want to act out, what they want to do, it's there. The speed of thought has never been faster. Especially with the darker impulses. It's at an unprecedented rate now. The ease in which people can indulge in sinful acts, from infidelity to criminal activity, is staggering now. A meeting of the minds. You don't have to physically be in front of a person now, right? What once took years to develop now unfolds in hours and even minutes. Consider this, family. 2 centuries ago, a married man contemplating an affair would require time, subtlety, and effort to engage in such an act. Today, with a swipe on a dating app or a private message on social media, the act of betrayal can be arranged in an instant. The speed and accessibility of sin, coupled with a culture that glorifies immorality, has created a perfect storm of spiritual erosion. And now you got to understand that when we have erosion, it's not always something that's seen. Or even still, let's just say you live in a wooden house and it looks to be fine, strong, keep it painted, you keep the roof nice, everything. And then one day you're relaxing in your bed. Let's not say the whole house falls on you, but it falls down in the living room. Let's just say that to keep you safe. And you're like, wait a second. The whole neighborhood is like, man, that house is so strong. This person maintains it, but you didn't see the fact that you had an infestation of termites eating away at the wood that was out of sight. How many things do we have eating away at us as far as sin is concerned? But we get shocked when the collapse comes, when things get exposed even faster. See? So it's not always what you can see, but this thing has really, how could I put it? It's eroded the base, the foundation. We're toxic. We're We're poisoned. But we wear the face of normalcy because we work so hard to appear to be normal. I always say that. We work hard at appearing normal and appearing as though everything is all right while we're so dysfunctional and caught up in our addictions and our sins. Right? But beyond just convenience, modern technology has also normalized evil thoughts and actions by projecting them onto the global stage. From twisted sexual practices to extreme crimes, the darkest corners of the human mind are now celebrated and consumed as entertainment. It wasn't like that before. This digital age is not just a tool, it is a weapon for demonic entities to infiltrate hearts and minds, straight up, pulling humanity further away from righteousness. And we take this as entertainment. And it gets worse and worse and worse, because you know when you get hit with something that you like, righteously, you want more of it. Well, on an unrighteous level, when you get hit with this stuff, you sink deeper into your cravings. And we're adults here and we can talk about this. It's almost like when a young person runs across some form of pornography and if they don't brush it off, they don't understand the dangers of it. They see a little nudity, a little sexual activity, and then they have a curiosity now because of their own physical feelings, their hormones, their mind. This has been introduced into their mind and they want to see more. So now you see more nudity. You see things that happen between a man and a woman. Then now you say, wait a second, what am I looking at over here? You see two women and a man. Then you see two women doing something with each other. Now the man. Now you see two men with one woman. Like, wow, these things exist? And so look how far it's come down. Those who are of a certain age, who understand, who have seen pornography or had former addictions, you can understand with what I'm saying. Now, pornography, adult material, is engineered now. Now we have it where you may have a man and a woman, two women, and then another man comes in. Okay, you say there's two men and two women. I don't want to focus on the sexual. I just have to say it this way. But then you see one man diddling around with the next man. And the women are okay with it and they're okay with it. And imagine the young kids now seeing this. I can't even call it advanced. It's just more decadence. Because now they want to see more. They crave more. And on the menu of decadence that can be sweet as far as its forbidden nature, so many people now, they want to go further into this, and many will keep it as a fantasy. Some will keep it as something that titillates them and that they have the opportunity. And some people actively go out to see how far they can go because of what they saw and how the seed was planted. The United States, as the self-proclaimed leader of the free world, bears a significant portion of the blame. Its permissive culture and legislation defending alternative lifestyles and moral deviations have seduced generations into abandoning traditional family values. As Donald Trump recently said, we must return to God, family, and moral discipline before this nation collapses under the weight of its own depravity. This is not merely a rant. It is a call to arms for those who still hold a flicker of faith and moral clarity. We must confront the addiction of sin, which, like a potent drug, pulls individuals deeper into darkness with every indulgence. Sin at the speed of light. The internet has turned sin into a commodity, accessible at the click of a button. Whether it's pornography, illicit affairs, or online scams, the digital world has removed the barriers that once slowed the descent into immorality. It's a free fall, a menu of darkness. From violent live streams to graphic depictions of perversion, the internet offers a full menu of sin to anyone willing to partake. These visuals and interactions fuel a craving for deeper, darker indulgences, leading people further into spiritual decay. Sin is intoxicating. We have to admit that. Like alcohol or drugs, the more you indulge, the more you crave. But the high is fleeting, but the descent is steep. Those trapped in this cycle often don't realize how far they've fallen until they reach the bottomless abyss of despair, emptiness, and death. Behind the scenes of this technological marvel lies an unseen spiritual war. Demonic entities have been released onto the earth, inhabiting those who willingly surrender themselves to sin. Those entities thrive in deception, hiding their agendas behind smiling faces and alluring promises. America has become the epicenter of global sin, exporting its culture of permissiveness and immorality to the world. Its laws now protect lifestyles and behaviors that would have been condemned in any righteous society. This moral decay is a clear sign of a civilization on the brink of collapse. There's a vast array of sin and its accessibility. Let's talk about this. Infidelity and betrayal. Social media and dating apps make affairs easier than ever, destroying families and eroding trust. Pornography, a multi-billion-dollar industry that feeds addiction and distorts healthy sexual relationships. Online scams and fraud, greed, and dishonesty have found a fertile ground in the digital world. Violence and crime. Real-time access to violent acts desensitizes society and fuels further chaos. Twisted sexual practices, from fetish communities to human trafficking, the internet enables and normalizes extreme behaviors. Substance abuse. Social media glamorizes drug use, leading to a rise in addiction and overdoses. Youth exploitation. Children are exposed to explicit content and predatory behavior at alarming rates. False identities and catfishing. Deception and manipulation thrive in online interactions. Glorification of violence. Gaming, movies, and social media often romanticize violence, shaping young minds toward aggression. Political and social manipulation, lies, and propaganda spread faster than truth, eroding trust in institutions and one another. We are living in what could be described as the end times for morality. Every great civilization that turned its back on righteousness eventually fell. And America seems determined to follow the same path more than any other country, even though it's in the UK and all these so-called developed nations. But how developed are you when you're immoral? The normalization of sin, coupled with unprecedented accessibility offered by technology, has brought humanity to its darkest hour. Yet there is hope. The path to redemption begins with individuals recognizing their own sin in this moral decay. It starts with accountability and a return to traditional values centered on family, faith, and community. The craving for sin can only be quenched by spiritual fulfillment. We must turn away from the intoxicating pull of darkness and seek the light, lest we lose ourselves completely. You see, the United States in particular must lead the way by renouncing its permissiveness and restoring laws that uphold moral discipline. And whether you like Donald Trump or not, he wasn't too much of a coward to say what he said. The fight against sin is not just a personal battle, it's a collective one. Together, we can resist the forces of evil that seek to destroy our souls and our society. But the main thing here is that we have to understand that it's at this level because of the accelerant called social media. I would love to hear what you have to say about this. Yes, people will say it's always been around, it's been closeted. Yes, it's been closeted in many hearts of the people, but now it's out there as an offering. Sin and decadence is just like that Chinese man with a piece of sesame chicken on the end of the toothpick at the food court, offering it to you. Here, try it out. Here. But it wasn't like that before. You had to seek it out or stumble upon it before it changed your life for the worse. Now it's pushed on you. Now the government defends this stuff and protects the people's rights. Listen, I'm all for you doing whatever you want to do, as long as it's behind closed doors and not pushed on the youngsters who are going to be the backbone of tomorrow. I want to hear what you have to say on this topic. Lancescurv here, the SCURV podcast. Always go to Lancescurv.com to catch all of the work that we've been doing since 2001, which at this point is 23 years. We're soon hitting our milestone of 24 years, almost a quarter of a century of artwork, of writing, of videos. We do so much more than talk on YouTube. Anyway, you all have a wonderful day, but think about what I said here and share this content, or even if you don't share it, bring up the conversation with others and let's speak about this, because the greatest invention called the internet is such a wonderful thing when used for good, but when you use it the other way, like these satanic forces and these satanic entities that are in political positions or hide and pull strings and try to steer the world into decadence, they're going to make us all fall. We don't want that to happen. We were born to live a wonderful life, a fruitful life, a productive life, and a happy life without dysfunction. Anyway, Lancescurv out, on to the next one. Thanks for being here. Peace.
Lancescurv.com. Bold, raw, and uncut.